Hello everyone, I am Dr. Monalisa Deka. I am going to discuss on the topic neuromuscular junction. This topic will be helpful to the students of zoology in undergraduate level. Before going to my discussion, I would like to offer my gratitude to the Zoological Society of Assam for taking the initiative of introducing online classes and giving me an opportunity to be a part of this journey of imparting knowledge to the students of zoology under different universities. Dear all, the learning outcomes of this presentation are structure of neuromuscular junction, neurotransmitters, and mechanism of neuromuscular transmission. Let us discuss first about the structure of neuromuscular junction. A nerve fiber is not a continuous system of many neurons, and it is not ended on its target organs by innervation. In case of skeletal muscle, a nerve fiber makes its contact with the muscle through a structure called neuromuscular junction or myoneural junction or motor end plate. It is the site of physiological communication between a nerve and a muscle. Action potential from nerve is transmitted through this junction to the muscle. The neuromuscular junction is formed of mainly three components. The first one is the presynaptic part. It is the nerve fiber terminal which arrives at the skeletal muscle. The second is the synaptic cleft. It is the gap between the nerve fiber and the muscle fiber membrane. And the third one is the postsynaptic part, which is actually the muscle plasma membrane. Let us see the presynaptic part. It is the nerve terminal of an axon which is arrived at the muscle. It forms a complex of branching nerve terminals that invaginate into the surface of the muscle fiber plasma membrane. The terminal button of the nerve fiber lies in a groove called synaptic trough. They contain number of synaptic vesicles where neurotransmitters are found. This terminal also contains voltage-gated calcium channels. The space between the presynaptic and postsynaptic parts is known as the synaptic cleft. It is 50 to 100 nanometer wide and is filled up with extracellular fluid. This structure allows the neurotransmitters released from the presynaptic part to diffuse to reach the other side of the synapse. It contains acetylcholine esterase, an enzyme that hydrolyzes acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter, into acetate and choline. The last part of the neuromuscular junction is known as motor end plate. It is the thickened portion of the muscle plasma membrane that is folded to form depressions called junctional folds or subneural plates. These folds increase the surface area for synaptic neurotransmitters. On the muscle fiber, there exist many acetylcholine receptors, which allows the acetylcholine to bind with it to transmit the nerve signal to the muscle fiber. As we know that the nerve signals are transmitted by action potentials. The transmission of nerve signals in nerve fibers are brought about by sodium and potassium ions. In case of synapse or a neuromuscular junction, the transmission of nerve impulse from one end to the other is carried out by a kind of chemical compound called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are a group of chemical agents released by the neurons to stimulate neighboring neurons or muscle or a gland, allowing the impulse to pass from one part to the next. Actually, neurotransmitters are synthesized by the neurons and are stored in some vesicles located in the axon's terminal end. Some neurotransmitters are dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, norepinephrine, histamine, acetylcholine, etc. Let us have a look on the types of neurotransmitters involved in the transmission of nerve impulses at various regions of the body. Neurotransmitters can be classified on the basis of two criteria. Number one is on the basis of structure. Neurotransmitters are divided into three categories. The first one is monoamines. They contain one amino group connected to an aromatic ring by a two-carbon chain. They are involved in fast synaptic transmission and are inhibitory and excitatory in nature. Examples are dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, histamine, serotonin, etc. The second class of neurotransmitters is the amino acids. These are the modified amino acids which are involved in slow synaptic transmission. Examples are glutamate, gamma aminobutyric acid, glycine, etc. The third category is named as others, as these neurotransmitters do not fall in any one of the above two classes. Examples are acetylcholine, nitric oxide, etc. Well, according to the functions, neurotransmitters, they are classified into two categories, excitatory and inhibitory. The excitatory neurotransmitters function to activate receptors on the postsynaptic membrane and enhance the effects of action potential. Examples of excitatory neurotransmitters are glutamate, acetylcholine, histamine, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, etc. The inhibitory neurotransmitters function to alter the strength of neurotransmission between neurons by affecting the amount of neurotransmitters that are produced and released. GABA, serotonin, dopamine, glycine, etc. are inhibitory neurotransmitters. As we are discussing about neuromuscular junction, let us concentrate on the neurotransmitter that is involved in neuromuscular transmission of nerve impulses. The neurotransmitter which is involved in the neuromuscular transmission is acetylcholine. It is a neurotransmitter of both central and peripheral nervous system. The structure of acetylcholine is shown in the figure. It binds with its receptors to transmit the nerve signals from one side to the other side of a synapse. Acetylcholine receptors are of two types, nicotinic and muscarinic. Acetylcholine receptors of neuromuscular junction are of nicotinic type and that of central nervous system are of muscarinic type. Acetylcholine was the first neurotransmitter to be discovered. It was discovered by a German scientist, Otto Loewi, in 1921. The picture of the scientist is shown on the slide. For the discovery of this neurotransmitter, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology in 1926. Now, let us see how acetylcholine is synthesized. Acetylcholine is synthesized in the cytosol of nerve terminals. It is synthesized by the enzyme acetylcholine transferase. This enzyme is synthesized in the ribosome of the cell body and passes to the axon's terminal. When acetate is combined with choline in presence of the enzyme acetylcholine transferase, acetylcholine is formed. The figure on the slide shows the formation of acetylcholine. It is then immediately transported through the membrane of the vesicles to their interior and stored there. As already stated, there are two types of cholinergic receptors, nicotinic and muscarinic. The nicotinic receptors are the ion channels where the muscarinic receptors are coupled with G proteins. Acetylcholine receptors are of nicotinic type. As we can see in the figure that it consists of 5 subunits, 2 alpha subunits and one of each of beta, gamma and delta as we can see in the figure. The acetylcholine binding surface of the receptor appears to be primarily on the alpha subunit. Acetylcholine receptors are synthesized in the muscle cells and are anchored to the end plate membrane by a special protein called rhabdin. It is associated with acetylcholine receptors in 1:1 ratio. The acetylcholine receptors are chemically gated ion channels. They are present on the end plate membrane. There are around 15 to 40 million acetylcholine receptors per end plate. These receptors bind the acetylcholine molecules and allow the nerve signals to pass to the muscle fiber. We have discussed about the structure of neuromuscular junction. Now, let us discuss about the neuromuscular transmission. Neuromuscular transmission is the transmission of nerve impulses from motor neuron to skeletal muscle through the neuromuscular junction. The mechanism of neurotransmission of impulses involving three steps: presynaptic events, synaptic events, and postsynaptic events. Let us see what happens in the presynaptic part. When a nerve impulse reaches the neuromuscular junction, acetylcholines are released from the terminals into the synaptic space. On the inside surface of the neural membrane are linear dense bars. To each side of each dense bar are protein particles that penetrate the neural membrane. These are voltage-gated calcium channels. When an action potential spreads over the terminal, sodium channels are closed and calcium channels open and allows calcium ions to diffuse from the synaptic space to the interior of the nerve terminal. The calcium ions are believed to activate calcium calmodulin dependent protein kinase, which in turn phosphorylates synapsin that anchor to the acetylcholine vesicles to the cytoskeleton of the presynaptic terminal. This process releases acetylcholine vesicles from the cytoskeleton and allows them to move to the membrane adjacent to the dense bars. Here, the acetylcholines are released by the process of exocytosis. The synaptic events include release of acetylcholine from the presynaptic vesicle into the synaptic space. The release of acetylcholine from the acetylcholine vesicle is accompanied by the process of exocytosis. The released acetylcholine then binds with the acetylcholine receptors, which are located on the postsynaptic membrane. Now, let us discuss how the signal is transmitted to the muscle fiber. As already stated in the previous slide, that on the muscle fiber membrane, there are many small acetylcholine receptors, also called acetylcholine-gated ion channels, and are located near the mouth of the subneural plate. The acetylcholine is released in the synaptic plate. As we can see in the figure that the channels of acetylcholine receptors remain closed until two acetylcholine molecules attach to the receptors at the alpha subunit. This attachment causes a conformational change that opens the acetylcholine channel. The opening of acetylcholine channel in turn allow the important positive ions such as sodium, potassium, calcium, etc. to move easily through the opening to the inside of the muscle fiber. This action creates a local positive potential change inside the muscle fiber membrane called the end plate potential. In turn, this end plate potential initiates an action potential that spreads along the muscle fiber. This action potential causes depolarization of the muscle fiber membrane and allows sarcoplasmic reticulum to release large quantities of calcium ions. These calcium ions in turn involved in the process of muscle contraction. Acetylcholine, after its release, either combines with its receptors or it is removed from the synaptic plate. It is usually removed by two ways. Either it is removed by diffusing out of the synaptic space, or it is removed by an enzyme called acetylcholine esterase. As we can see in the figure that in presence of the enzyme, acetylcholine molecule is split into acetate and choline. These two products then transported to the presynaptic part via its channels present on the membrane of presynaptic terminal. Dear all, we have come to the end of my presentation. This presentation was prepared by taking help of some references, some of which are shown here. Hope this presentation will help you to understand the structure of neuromuscular junction and about the transmission of neuromuscular junction. Thank you everyone.